each other. Can't you see that's all I want? Nothing I won't do, 'cause all I want is love to you. So there's nothing I won't do, 'cause my love to you. All I want for you is all I want for you. So let's be with each other.
Yep, that's right, baby. You know what it is? It's DJ Sus One, the feature presentation. Listen, make sure you wake up with Tayla, Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on Big City 101.3 FM. Wake up with the Radio Rebel. Politics, news, conspiracies. Wake up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. This is the type of stuff I'm into, all right? Make sure you tune in. Let's go.
Let's go. Big City 101.3 FM, waking up with Tayla, Andre. Good rising, kings and queens. How are you? On and on and on. That's how I'm feeling this rising. It's Monday. I'm a little disappointed that my kids don't have school today because I went outside and I'm used to shoveling about 3 feet of snow before school. What happened? What happened to, resilience and teaching our children to, push on? If I was to take a day off every time I didn't feel like going to school, it's an inch, up to possibly 5 inches. They said 8. I guarantee won't get more than 5. But the question is, do you remember when it was 2 feet of 2 feet of snow and we still had to go to school? It was called delayed. No? I'm here by myself? Fine. Absolutely. I don't understand. What's wrong with these children? Currently, it's cold. It's freezing outside, 29 degrees outside. We're looking at a high of 43, low of 29. AM snow, 1 to 3 inches, so they say. I promise you, we won't get more than 5. Those babies could be in school today. High of 49 tomorrow, low of 39. Mostly sunny throughout the day. Wednesday, high of 58, low of 38. Showers throughout the day. And Thursday, high of 44, low of 38. Cloudy. Friday, high of 39, low of 32. Rain throughout the day. And Saturday, we're looking at a high of 43, low of 35. Mostly cloudy throughout the day as far as traffic is concerned. You do not have the green light. It is really bad. If you are going to work and you plan on being there on time, please get to where you need to be immediately. Our wife is down to 20 miles an hour, which is really good for this time. Longwood is down to 22 miles an hour. But the real problem areas are coming from 93 and MA3 North. So if you're coming from the Weymouth area all the way down to the Cape, you're not going any faster than 40 miles an hour until you hit that Braintree-Quincy split. There is all types of they're having problems. They're having more problems than what they would like to admit. It is backed up and they are down to 8 miles an hour. 8 miles an hour. They're calling that this a winter storm. This is not a winter storm. This is a few snowflakes. I don't know when this nonsense became a winter storm. Get to where you need to be. Traffic is really bad. It's probably going to be even worse once people start getting on the road. But do be mindful that a lot of the children don't have school today, so you're not going to see the traffic that you're used to. As far as news is concerned, President Barack Obama is the first president to set foot in Cuba for 9 decades, 90 years. He makes history with Michelle, Sasha, and Malia, while Cuban human rights protesters clash with police just a few miles away. So the president, the first lady, and the daughters, as well as Michelle's mother, arrived in Cuba. The first family were met by rain that began moments after they landed in Havana on Sunday evening. Cuban dictator Raul Castro did not show up to greet him. He was in a meeting with Obama tomorrow. He will be meeting with Obama today. Obama is the first sitting U.S. president to visit the communist country in nearly 90 years. The U.S. president will also meet with dissidents of authoritarian government that has a history of human rights abuses. As Air Force One left Andrews Air Force bases, protesters erupted in Havana over Cubans' human rights records. There was a woman who said, listen, I want to be able to speak my First Amendment right, and they hauled her away. And the pictures show her being literally hauled away. They had her by her arms, they had her by her feet, and they just took her away. We will silence you, basically, is what they said. So I'm interested to see what will come out of this. I think a lot of us are. In other news, I thought the story was interesting. I know that there's a lot of dog owners that listen. I particularly am not one of them. I am a dog renter. I'm really not a renter. We dog sit. So if any of the parents out there want to have a pet but don't want to have a pet, you can always dog sit. It's really good money, and you temporarily have a pet that you can give away. It's like babysitting. You're going through baby fever and you just keep, a sibling's child just so you can get out your system. Like, ooh, now that that's over, I don't have to deal with that anymore. So I do deal with dogs. I know many people with dogs. Yes, your dog can read your mind. And the bad news is he knows exactly what you think about other owners. So studies have concluded that dogs can tell what their owners think of strangers by their type of reaction. The study was led by Charlotte Duranton of Marsley University. Canines engage in so-called human referencing, the same as young children. So this is a rather long study that they did, and it also is a video to accompany this article. I will post it on the Wake Up with Tayla Andre page so you can do your own due diligence if that's something that you're interested in. But it goes back to, I love how they reference children. Like dogs have that same sense that children have. And anybody with a child knows that sometimes your children just don't like certain people. You can't explain it. They can be the nicest people in the world, but your child just doesn't like this person. Why? Because children sense something that we as adults completely ignore, and dogs have that too. And I thought it was humorous for them to link dogs and children together in this ability to decipher between good and bad characteristics within people. I think it's awesome. Again, if you want to read more, it'll be on the Wake Up with Tayla Andre page, TaylaAndre. So another report, Boston is number 2 in the country for career-oriented professionals. Why is this important? There's good news for professionals living in or looking to relocate to Boston. According to a new study commissioned by staffing firm Robert Half and conducted by the Economics Intelligence Unit, Boston ranks second in the nation as the best destination for career-oriented professionals among 25 large U.S. metropolitan studied cities. Why is this a problem? Or why is this a good thing? Well, this is a good thing because that means that a lot of money is being made here. Why is this a bad thing? Because with the high salaries coupled with the quality of life that is here in Boston, people are being priced out and pushed out. I want to go back and make reference to the conversation interview that we had with John Barrows of the mayor's cabinet, where we had many questions as far as economic development in the city, housing, the BRA, the fact that many of the institutions that are here on Boston's tax-paying land don't pay taxes. Hello, we have questions. I don't think that we got many answers. But there's stories after studies, after more stories that are coming out and saying that, Boston has the largest inequality gap between the richest and the poorest. Boston has some of the best jobs if you have these degrees. And the author of this article said Boston loves families, just not yours. And I think it's time for us to acknowledge what we've all known and have always known. And I'm wondering what's being done on a city level to combat every single last one of these studies that are saying there's something that's not being done correctly. We have these numbers, we have these facts, we have these figures. Well, what we've had since the beginning of time were voices like Mel King, were voices like the mother that was in the chambers giving her testimony on how she was being kicked out of her housing. We have voices across not only Boston, but gentrification is happening all over the country. Why do we need studies when we have the voices of those that are being taken advantage of? What studies do you need when you have single mothers and struggling families telling you that there's a problem, but yet their voices continue to go unheard? When we have one of the largest population of homelessness here in our city, and it's not just homelessness because they're hooked on drugs, it's families that are homeless, our young people that are homeless. But yet we have these facts and these figures, these statistics, these studies. Mr. Negative, I'm in a positive mood today. Good rising. How are you?
Good morning, Tayla. How you doing?
Super fantastic.
Here's the problem with the gentrification argument is this notion that our people can't afford the mortgage. You got people coming off the boat here from Vietnam who have 10,000 and about 15 of them, and we get a house together. Most of these people in our community, we got about 2,000 people on their Facebook friends, 1,000 people that they call are their best associates. Okay, well, put your money together, get a 3-family, you each get a floor, and then you maintain that property. Like, I don't get it. Like, our people are not poor, they're just money stupid.
Okay.
I mean, if people can come off here from third world countries and 3 of them can get a place. Now, I've asked professional people, why don't we do this? And they think, well, I don't know. I mean, can I afford it? You can't afford that, but you can afford all these handbags. And I swear to God, if I went to the wardrobe of probably 9 out of 10 African-American women in this place, there's probably about $10,000 worth of jewelry and clothes. If I look at their wardrobe and jewelry. But
do you honestly believe that?
Heck yeah. Listen, if you look at all the clothes, see, people don't realize how much money spent. See, I think online, so I see how much I spend every penny to a pack of gum. And if you was to go online thinking, see what you spend on a year on your hair products, your weeds and all this, half of them can afford a home. If 3 of them got together and got a 3-family. Single family, same thing. I mean, same thing, single family, you might have to get a roommate or whatever. But heck, I mean, if you have roommates anyways, in a project, why not get a roommate to get a house that you're going to own?
Point taken. Point taken.
And that's why when we complain about things, people look at us, and don't get me wrong, I love my people and pro-black to the 10th power. But when I see some of us who are making $8,000 work on a team, her boyfriend works as a firefighter, and then they're renting and they're talking about struggling, I just want to, I can see why someone wants to punch you in the face. Like, if you're struggling, you both have a combined income of maybe $25,000 and $100,000 student debt. I get why you don't have a home. But if your home is bringing in $2 $80,000 salaries, and y'all got 1 child, you guys got money problems, jump off a bridge.
Don't literally jump off the bridge, but what you do need to do is you need to figure out what's going on with your budget and find out if you need to be put on a budget. And we have some people coming in talking about financial planning and smart banking and savings and stocks. And, you know, that is a conversation that we are going to have. You guys know that March is Women's Month, so we've been focusing on our ladies and just, you know, holistically healing our women. But absolutely, Mr. Nubian, I do. When you're right, you're right. I'm not going to argue with you when you're right. And I totally agree. If you have a 2-parent household or 2 individuals, because sometimes it's stepmama or stepdaddy, if you have 2 individuals in a household that are making good money, there's no reason, unless you messing with Sally Mae, Freddie Mac, and then that's a pretty good damn reason for you not to own a home because your credit's probably messed up. We have another call on the line, 617-282-0062. Good rising, call you live.
Good morning, good rising. Even though it's still dark outside.
It's all good. Good rising, good rising.
I just want to say to Mr. Nubian, he has some good points and then he has some bad points. But one of the things that I don't agree with that he does is he calls out people stupid and this and that. There's other adjectives that he can use, like illiterate or illiteracy or money illiteracy or something like that. But
financial illiteracy.
Stuff like that. I don't think that's cool that he does that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's Nubian himself. He's black himself. And I understand his frustration. But on the other hand, he has so much knowledge of, you know, all the homes and finances. He could get the class to black folks and show them how to do that stuff.
Reggie B said, don't talk about it, be about it, baby. Don't tell me I'm dumb. Show me how to make better decisions. When you're right, you're right. I'm not going to argue with you when you're right. We got another call on the line. Go Rise and Call, you live.
Good morning, Taylor. How you doing?
Super fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I got two topics. Another one to save money. There's something called Capital on 360. The way you could set this thing up, I've been doing this for over 20 years now. It's pretty good. First, it used to be INC Direct. Now it's called Capital One 360 bought INC Direct. So the way that you do it is just you make them take $150 a week from your paycheck.
We're talking about a little bit of everything. So this is the news.
And by doing this,
politics, a little bit of everything until we get into Power Hour.
You should have $10,000 in your bank account. Then you put your tax returns on it. Then you do that in 2 years. That's $30,000.
Hold on, my tax return. Hold up, time out, pause. You know I'm trying to get my weave done. I'm trying to get some rims on my tires. You know my baby daddy needs something on his commissary.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people think tax money is free money to go shop. No, tax money is money that you did not have. You should not put any hope on it. You just put it in your savings account. If we all do that, don't you see what's going on in tax season? A lot of people just bring the interest rate low, the car interest rate low. They say, well, you could come in. You don't need to fill out your tax. Just bring your tax bill, fill it out, and then we'll give you a call, let you, walk with it, drive out with it. But we don't know why his tax return is. You should also budget yourself like tax returns is like, it's a saving money that you did not have that's going to go straight to your savings. Do not do budget on your tax return. We all do that, and then after a month or so, when we receive that tax money, we all, it's done. But my people, please listen to me. I know a lot of people don't like me because when I like to be a little bit rough. It's not being rough. It's just we need to fight our body. When I mean fight our body, because our body always wants stuff. But there's stuff that we know that we don't need. Like getting your hair done every week, your nails done and all that. We can't do that. We actually right now, when you look about where you grew up, all the properties are bought by white folks. We should open our eyes. Back in the 90s when I was growing up, every house was owned by a black man. And like Dorchester, Hyde Park, all of them. Now when you look at it, it's like a head count of black people who own them. But if we need to go back to that game, we need to start saving our money a little bit better. That's what I have to say today, Taylor. Have a good one. I'm going to try to do my best to swing by you because I work on the opposite. That's why I haven't swing by it up.
That's okay. It's okay. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Bring that lady to talk about finance. Hopefully all my peeps will, tune in that day so we could be, better into our city. Because if we both do that, who's going to pay for it? Our generation, our kids, our grandchildren.
And then great-grandchildren, especially when we leave them nothing. Thank you. I love you and appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely right. We're going to have somebody come in. We're going to talk about finance. And it's not even having them tune in. It's actually paying attention because I could tell my kids all day, talk till I'm blue in the face. I can talk until I'm blue in the face. But unless my children heed my words, unless I myself heed those that came before me's words, my elders' words, I can listen all day, but unless I take action, that's where the difficult part is. You guys remember the conversation that we had on Friday. It's not about acknowledging. We can all acknowledge what we need to do. It's taking those steps in which we need to take for a better future, for a better tomorrow for our children. In other news, we have a huge problem, y'all. So while we're over here this weekend, celebrated Hip Hop for Flint, 32 countries across the globe, one of the things that people fail to even acknowledge is that here in Massachusetts, Water Resource Authority is launching a $100 million interest-free loan program to help cities and towns cover the cost of replacing 28,000 aging service lines made with lead that threaten to contaminate drinking water in dozens of communities. Pause. Let's go back. Let's reread. The cost of replacing 20,000 aging water service lines made with lead that threaten to contaminate drinking water. Baby, if it was made with lead, how does it threaten to contaminate drinking water and not already contaminating our drinking water? Pause. I'll wait. While that's being said in the same sentence, how about New York City? New York City, the feds are probing high lead levels in NYC public housing residents. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York City, Preet Bharara's office will look at elevated blood levels and other public health concerns. Problem. While we've been having this conversation ongoing for a few months now since Flint came out, and we've been, learning a little bit more about Flint, been learning more about lead, New York City, Boston. This is a problem across these United States of America. You think Flint is the only one? I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. She said, you know what? I always wondered when I get water out of the faucet why it's cloudy and I have to let it sit before it's clear. I never thought about that. Out of the mouths of babes. It's a good question. Do you have the answer, Sway? Because I don't have the answer. 617-282-0062. Why is the water cloudy, even if it's cold? Because I know sometimes with hot water, if you put hot water in a cup, it is kind of cloudy. But even with cold water, it's cloudy, and then about 30 seconds later, it's clear. Where's V from Tennessee? I know you have something biologically that you can break down for us. Trump. I hate saying his name, but hey, Trump. All the news stories are just all the news across the globe, whether it's media or whether it's radio or whether it's television or whether it's on our computers or whether it's in a newspaper. Everything is always about Trump. He called protesters who blocked the roads to his rally sick and defends his spirited campaign manager for grabbing a man by the collar. But yet, let anybody else's campaign manager have grabbed somebody up by the collar, and it would have been assault. But yet, because Trump did it, he's just spirited. He's just excited. I'm sick of this. I'm so sick of the campaign. I'm ready for it to be done. I really, at this point, I don't care who wins because no matter what happens, which way it goes, it's not going to look good for anybody. It's not. I have no... Hillary, where you at? I have no faith right now in democracy. Very little to none. 22 people rushed to the hospital after a chemical spill in a recreation center pool. Visitors at the Bob L. Berger Recreation Center in Lafayette, Colorado, were evacuated after a chemical incident on Saturday afternoon. The incident was initially reported as a chlorine gas spill in the pool area. However, authorities did not find the leak or the spill and said that there was no readily apparent cause for what happened for people to get sick. I think that's interesting because what else could it have been? A total of 22 people were transported to 5 different area hospitals with symptoms including coughing, nausea, and vomiting. They're going to go ahead and test the pool water and just be mindful. I had a gentleman who I spoke to who told me that he's been working with pools for the past 15 years. He said if you ever walk into a facility and all you smell is chlorine, that pool is dirty, it's nasty, you should leave. And the smell that you smell is them trying to overpower the bacteria by throwing more chemicals into it. That's what I was told to me. He's been working with pools for 15 years. I've worked with pools for 0, so I'm going to take heed to his words. We have a call on the line, 617-282-0062. The Rising Caller, you're live. Hey, Hillary. Hillary, I have no faith in democracy right now. Just paying attention this weekend to the news and who they're actually, I know you get on me every once in a while, like, Tayla, don't just talk about Bernie. You got to talk about everybody. Talk about Hillary. But I feel like the only people that the news is talking about is Trump. I feel like Trump paid every network to talk about him.
I understand that, Taylor, and I understand your frustration. Although I'm a Hillary all the way, she's not perfect, never claimed for her to be perfect, but you still have to believe. You know how you always say, do your due diligence? You don't really watch TV, but you hear it, you know that they're talking about Trump, but you have to focus and say, okay, I know what I need to do. I need to look into what my issues are, what my concerns are, and just vote. You can't do any more than that. You can kind of get your constituents together and for your cause, for your neighborhood cause. You cannot give up the fight because it looks ugly. It's going to always be ugly. That's why it's a democracy. There's going to be pros and cons with everything in this world. But remember, this is a free world. If you was anywhere else, you see in Cuba, they got issues up the yin yang. We got issues, but we have a lot of freedom that a lot of countries don't. So although you don't have faith in it, you have to go through the process and just make sure you vote. That's all I can say. It's very frustrating, but these are who we have. This is who we voted in. This is who we have to exercise our right to vote. That's all I can say about that. It's very frustrating, but we only can control what we can do. Educate our children, try and do what we can in the community, and hope for the best.
Thank you.
You have to.
I really, today is that day that the Lord has made, and I'm feeling a little defeated. And I think it was because I don't watch television and I don't watch the news and I don't have cable. But this weekend I saw more TV than I have in the past few months, and it was just very overwhelming.
It's okay, Tayla, but you know what? People can watch TV, but it's all in what you believe in. You know, the reality TV shows, it's about drama, about other people's lives. We have to only worry about what we can control. You can see a whole bunch of stuff. You can see stuff that's positive and stuff that's negative. But you have to do your due diligence and do the best that you can every day that God gives you a chance to wake up. It's a do-over. It's a chance to do better.
Thank you so much, baby. You know I love and appreciate you, right?
Not a problem. Keep positive, Taylor. You got your listeners out there. And if you're feeling down, this is why we're here to lift you up.
Thank you, baby. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope you have an awesome day today. Thank you. So what I would like to do is I would like to woosah, gain my composure real quick. If we could take a really quick break. I have a very special guest for you. She's been here before. You guys love her. You guys appreciate her. And I promise you, she is going to make your day 100% better. We're going to take a really quick break. Waking Up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7, Big City. Give me a moment. Reggie B's out the door. We're back. I don't know who you are, darling, but I love you and I appreciate you. And I hope you come right back because I'm about to end and start over. Reggie B.
Hey, Taylor.
Hi, Reggie.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm at low frequency right now.
I know, I heard you.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I tuned into the television.
Oh, about the snow?
Yeah, no, just the television. The television.
The television tell lies.
Yeah, exactly. And it drains you of your energy when you pay attention to that bullshit.
You don't watch TV though, right?
I don't at all.
So
when I do watch it, it's.
You get weather updates on your phone?
What?
You get weather updates on your phone? Is that what you read from?
Right now?
No, just before, like, over the weekend into the new week. That's how you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's done on my phone.
And the children are at home for nothing.
Don't even get me started on that nonsense. There's like an inch of snow on the ground. Now, I understand 3 years ago there was 10 feet of snow and we still had the babies going to school, but somebody has to have some sense. Yep. Anything under 2 feet, take your ass to school. It doesn't make sense.
I think they called it early last night too.
It was like 6:30.
Yeah.
6:30.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And didn't even wait until like between like around 10 o'clock to see what it's gonna look like.
Dumbasses.
I'm in agreement with you. Dumbasses. I'm gonna have to they probably have to make this day up, huh?
Of course they do.
Wow. Messing up the children's summertime, man.
Messing up my summertime. Forget the children's. Good rising, Big City 101.3 FM. Waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. We got Debrena Jackson Gandy on the other line.
Yeah, on before.
Yeah, Debrena is, people love Debrena.
Mm.
That's right, baby. You know what it is? It's DJ Sus One, the feature presentation. Listen, make sure you wake up with Tayla Andre Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on Big City 101.3 FM. Wake up with the Radio Rebel.
Politics, news, conspiracies.
Wake up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. This is the type of stuff I'm into, all right? Make sure you tune in. Let's go.
Let's go. Big City 101.3 FM, waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. She's been on here before. You guys absolutely love her. Debrena Jackson Gandy is a national best-selling author, speaker, and success coach that is passionate about women and men experiencing juicy relationships and marriages. As founder of the Love Academy and modern courtship movement, she teaches new, refreshing truths and principles based on her popular book, The Love Lives. Y'all remember that? The Love Lives. We had a whole series on Thursdays. Well, guess what? We might be bringing it back. Good rising, my queen. How are you?
Good morning. Good to be with you again, honey.
Hey, I missed that voice.
You know I love you because I'm up early on the West Coast for Tayla.
And we do love you. We appreciate you. So it is the crack of dawn, but it is still the month of March, and March is Women's Month. And we've been doing a lot of holistic healing to our women and helping them get through some of their issues that, you know, it's easy to say, okay, I have problems, I have issues, I'm a little crazy. It's something different to own it, acknowledge it, and work through it. And let's work through it, Debrena. Let's work through it.
Woo, that's right. This is time for a lot of healing and restoration and renewal and reconnection. So I'm so glad you are doing this.
Absolutely. So one of the most popular parts of the series that we had was the woman and girl, knowing being in your woman and versus being in your girl. And a lot of us, no matter if we're 18 or 38, feel as if we are in our woman. What do you mean? I'm of course I'm a woman. Of course I act like a woman. I pay my bills. I got a man. I have kids. I pay rent. Yeah, I'm a woman.
In my book, The Love Lives, as you know, that distinction isn't just about I'm a woman, meaning I'm an adult female, which is what you described, right? And the things that come with becoming an adult. I'm actually using that term to describe emotionally mature, spiritually mature, mature in our communication. That's being in your woman. And it also shows up in how you're engaging and relating to men versus being in your girl. And that's a phrase I use to describe being immature emotionally, immature spiritually, and being unilingual. I talk about manese and womanese, and a girl speaks only womanese. When we're in our woman, we speak both manese and womanese. So, you know, there's lots of specifics underneath both of those, but I'm talking about a state, not just a description.
Debrena, how does one move into the state of being a woman versus the being in a description of a woman? How do we move from one area to another? How do I come out of my girl and move into my woman? And what does it even mean for me to be in my girl?
Right. Well, that's one of the reasons that, you know, I provided an assessment in my book so that ladies reading the book could actually locate themselves, you know, on this continuum. Where am I? Am I deep in my girl? Am I on the edge of being in my woman? So there are some very specific characteristics, behaviors, choices we make, the way we communicate internally and externally, within ourselves and with other people. There's a whole bunch of very specific characteristics that, you know, ladies can review to see where they are. But first of all, it's just owning that where you are, instead of having this warped sense, which a lot of us do. You know, we think we're at level 7, we're really at level 2.5. And so first is just like, here's where I really am. It's not bad, it's not good. This is where I am. Let me be truthful with myself about it. So that's why I gave, you know, readers the assessment. And then there is a whole awareness and a consciousness and an interest in and a commitment to personal growth and spiritual development. That's one of the characteristics of being in your woman, is that you are able to look in the mirror, tell the truth about what you see, you love what you see, and you're committed to what you see getting good and better and then becoming best. When you're in your woman, you practice sacred self-care. And that's a whole conversation in and of itself, but it is a way of thinking and believing and thus being in life that is very different than when you're in your girl, when you're often self-neglecting. Your self-value is low in your own eyes. Your esteem is struggling, and it shows up in your choices and how you interact. So when you're in your woman, you are a sacred, self-caring woman. And it shows in your body. It shows in your energy. It shows in the spoken vibrations you put out into the world, AKA your words. It shows in the inner self-talk. You know, a lot of us, if you put an amplifier on our inner self-talk and blasted it to the world to hear, it would be scary. And these are the same folks that would say, oh, I love myself. And, you know, you would hear judgment and comparison to other women. You would hear denigrating comments in that inner self-talk of self and others. So we have to just wake up and recognize that though we say we love self, that if you really were to look at the cues and clues, that most of us are at a low level of self-love. There are levels. There are, you know, all the way up to what I call embodiment of self-love, which, you know, for example, Jesus Christ achieved that. So I don't know how many other Christs we have walking the planet, but it's a tall order to get to that level of absolute self-acceptance and unconditional self-love, which that's the end game. So, any rate, it's a process, it's a journey, it's ongoing, it is a glorious journey. Healing and forgiveness is part of it as well. A lot of us use the word I forgave, I forgive, and we don't understand the process and wouldn't be able to even articulate it. So a lot of pieces to it, but it is very, very obvious and clear when we're in our woman. Others notice, others know, others can tell, other females can tell, not just other males, versus in our girl. Unfortunately, our conditioning and our programming in this country has 93% of us, I would say, in our girl. So virtually all of us. But it's possible to come out, it's possible to elevate, it's possible to mature, and it is a glorious and powerful thing when it happens.
Can we have some characteristics of what a girl may look like? So for the women that are currently listening, who are like, I'm definitely a woman, I don't know what this lady's talking about. How can how can she identify that, yes, she is in her girl versus what she believes to be in her woman?
Right. Well, for one, as an example, when we're in our girl and in the love lies, I'm talking specifically about inside the context of our love relationships and marriages. But the characteristics still are very similar. So, for example, when we're in our girl, we operate from a belief, we don't realize we do, but we operate from the belief that love is found outside of ourselves in another person called a him, a soulmate, a Mr. Right, or the one. And our behavior is consistent with that we deep down really do perceive love as a thing outside of ourselves to be found and sought out. And we chase it in various ways, and it shows. When we're in our girl, we're very emotionally reactive. We get pissed off easily and often. We're defensive. We tend to blame. We tend to be victim. We tend not to take responsibility for our part in an outcome or a consequence. We haven't done our healing and forgiveness work. So we're still carrying around emotional wounds and emotional baggage from previous relationships, incidents and situations in our lives that are still affecting us in the present moment. We tend to have a problem with other females. We don't get along with other females. We have a list of the negative traits that tend to show up when we deal with other females. That's a reflection of self. We don't have, when we're in our girl, we don't have many or any healthy male friendships. And I don't mean dudes you used to screw and now y'all are buddies. I ain't talking about that. I mean authentic male friendships. We complain. We criticize. If you listen to our language, with the words that a female in her girl speaks, it's all about the past or only the present, and it's spoken in a lot of negative, low vibration words are part of that narrative, instead of also speaking vision and speaking into her future. When we're in our girl, we do not have a morning sacred self-care spiritual practice that includes prayer and meditation. That is absolutely critical for the development of a feminine spirit and character. When we're in our girl, we're still working on discipline with food, controlling what is coming in our gates, our eye gate, what we see and watch, our ear gates, what we hear and listen to, our mouth gate, what we speak, our mouth gate, what goes in our mouth. We're still eating based on comfort, not nutrition. We're undisciplined with food. We use it for emotional reasons, etc., etc. And then our womb gate, which is our vagina. We have no sense of the divine nature of our bodies. And so when we're in our girl, we allow entrance into the divine temple through the womb gate. And there's no regard or not enough regard. And we use sex as a commodity or a carrot or a bargaining tool when we're in our girl. So those are some of the characteristics. And, you know, if you could hook up a video camera with audio and visual to most of us, just 2 weeks trailing us around in our lives, audio that would crack into our inner self-talk as well, most of us would be in our girl. And in my Love Academy, we actually do the girl-woman assessment, so that instead of women saying, well, I'm in my woman, well, go ahead and do the assessment and let's just see where you are. And again, over 90% of all the women, and we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that have done my course, every single one, 93% is virtually everybody, has been in their girl. So contrary to popular belief or personal belief, that's where our socialization process deposits us, in your girl. So if you are in your woman, it's because you made a decision, a conscious, intentional choice to come out of it, and you entered into the process and develop those things within yourself that shift you into woman. But those are some of the characteristics.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you went through a few of them. Now, I took the test. I failed miserably. I'm not even going to lie. I was part of that 93%. I was like, I failed. I accept it. So is me accepting it? Am I like coming into my woman? Because I accept my 93% failure. I accept the fact that I have some growing to do. Can we ask? So there's a series of questions in this survey. Can we do maybe 5 of them and see how can we do a quick test? See if out of these 5, how much progress have each of us made, or where each of us stand currently?
Okay. So yes, and the ones from the book again are in the context of love relationships. Especially because that's what the book is about, healing women of the female love lies and giving us the detox process so we can come into experiencing deep satisfaction, fulfillment, and juicy relationships. So I will use a few from the book. So let's choose 5, like you said. So one is, first question, I constantly entertain romantic fantasies in my head that remain there instead of being manifested in my life. So yes or no. So when we're in our girl, we have a lot of going on in our heads as it relates to relationship. Thoughts about how we'd like it to be. Thoughts about, I wonder when, I wonder if. It also could be frustrating thoughts, but a lot going on in the head. And when you look at the real life, it ain't converting. So it would be yes or no on that.
Okay, so I'm a little confused about this question. And the reason why I'm confused about this question is because what if I've been single for a while and I just haven't really engaged in a relationship? And so, yes, I have visions of grandeur, of this awesome relationship with me and this man, and we just love each other so much. But that hasn't manifested in my life. But, I'm open to the possibility. I just haven't found him yet, or he hasn't found me yet. But I'm happy with who I am and being alone. But, my visions of grandeur have not come into reality.
Well, here's the thing. With this particular one, I didn't say having the fantasies is not okay. What I said is that what we have in our head is not translating into our physical 3-dimensional life. That's the problem. And so if we have a vision, which is something that we have taken the time to intentionally create, a fantasy has been imposed on us from external. And there's a lot of imposing on us when it comes to love relationships. So most of us are in fantasy. It's not a vision we created. It is a fantasy based upon the installed and instilled thoughts about relationships that we've received externally. So one, if you have a vision that is wonderful, great, most of us don't. But then let's check to see, is it converting to your real life? So for example, I talk about modern courtship. Are you being courted according to my modern courtship principles? Do you have some healthy male friendships? Are you around, men? Are you comfortable? Are you at ease? Are you, going out and experiencing some things in the company of men? I'm amazed at how many women will say to me, but there aren't any men. I'm older, or my line of work, and so you can't have a vision in your head, if it is a vision and not a fantasy, and then in your real life you have a scarcity consciousness going on, and you are editing out all of the men that are all around you and that are all over the place. So we can't have it both ways. That's a disconnect. And girls, when we're in our girl, we have a lot of disconnect. While when we're in our woman, like, oh, Debrena, I'm interacting with men, I'm meeting new men. I was at the grocery store and a man said hello to me. I got a compliment from a man the other day. There's some kind of lining up in our real lives with that which we are holding in our heads. I'm all for vision. Most of us don't have a vision, we have fantasy. And when you have fantasy and then your real life is completely different from it, then you have major disappointment and frustration. And that's what most of us have.
Thank you for that clarification, because I just wanted to make sure that the ladies out there weren't, punishing themselves because they didn't have it right. But I understand now that there's a difference between vision that you go after and make reality versus the fantasy that you replay over and over again in your head. And that's the life that you live, is that internal fantasy. That are people too scared to make it come true? Is it something that they really don't even want, but they just want to live that internal lie?
Well, we don't want to live the lie, but we often don't know we're in one, and then we don't know how to come out of it. It's like being in a jail cell, but the bars are invisible, but you're in a cell. So, for example, yesterday I was having coffee after church with one of my girlfriends, who's probably, I think, about 15 years older than me. And she had a very traumatic childhood and didn't receive a lot of nurturing and acceptance from her mother. And recently she's released about 70 pounds and has gone through a complete external transformation. Well, she desires to be in a love relationship, but around men, she completely locks up and gets self-conscious, and then also had a conversation early in her life that she was alone. So she tends to edit out even seeing all the men that are around her, and certainly doesn't notice when male attention is coming toward her. So she has an internal desire, but then her external is not yet lined up and is actually sabotaging and not consistent with her internal desire. So until she does her healing work and actually gets, because now she's like this swan that has emerged, that until she can get who she is now and not be living out of internally an old belief system from the traumatized, alone, we'll call her Jane, to now embracing who she is now, she will continue to have, quote unquote, no men show up in her life. That's how powerful the mind is.
Absolutely.
So, and so when we were talking yesterday, I said, well, honey, you need to get your new self. Even though the outside is changing, we see this gorgeous, beautiful older woman who's lost 70 pounds and done a wardrobe makeover and now wears makeup and is gorgeous. In your mind, you're still 70 pounds heavier internally, and you're still the alone, rejected girl. So now that she, if she chooses to like own that, wrap her arms around it and say, okay, this is what's really going on, then she can start to do the intentional, what I call divine self-work, which includes some very specific forgiveness work and starting to shift her mindset into that of being a sacred self-caring woman. And what will happen is, though her physical self hasn't changed, because that already went through a transformation, her inner self will start to transform. And if she does the work, when I talk to her next, she will be, oh my gosh, Debrena, men are coming from everywhere. Well, I thought there were no men. Well, you just weren't seeing them. Oh, now you're seeing them. Now you're comfortable in your skin, literally. Now your level of self-love is elevated because you've been on a self-love elevation program and you read my book and followed the steps. And now you're attracting male energy, which means your female energy, your feminine energy is getting stronger and juicier, which is irresistible to male energy by design. Masculine energy is drawn to irresistible feminine energy. And so now there's men showing up, oh, what? You just were out on 5-day dates? Yeah, start in the day, Debrena says. 1 hour, yeah. Oh, you had 5-day dates? Wow, same city, you haven't moved. There wasn't, men dropped in from helicopters somewhere all of a sudden. It's you have done your inner work, which is a magnet, and now look what's happening. Your external reality is changing. So it doesn't matter, even what your physical packaging is. If internally something is contradicting that, you'll have a disconnect. And a lot of us do have disconnects like that. So, and we start to have things shift in our lives when we are doing the work. We have testimonies. We have real tangible stuff that is now different. So it's a powerful thing when we decide to make the shift from girl to woman, because you have to do the divine self-work. No one can do it for you. You can't snap your fingers and have it done. And we've gotten lazy in this culture. We all want it now. We all want the fruit, and we don't want to do the gardening work. And so women don't have to guess. Females don't have to guess. My books lay it out. Sacred Pampering Principles, my first book. All the Joy You Can Stand, my second book. All dealing with the relationship with self, the primary human relationship we are all born into. Then the third book talks about relationship with another, called a man in this case. I write about heterosexual relationships. It's my lived experience. So we need to roll it back. If I could just, hire, buy out all the billboards and advertise all over the world. Like, let's get back to the primary human relationship we were all born into that is often neglected and overlooked, and start to fall back in love with ourselves and raise our levels of self-love, because there are levels. And then we would be transforming our love relationships, because we went back to fall in love with and heal and elevate the love in the primary human relationship, the one with self. It's amazing, but we often are so externally focused. We keep going on a merry-go-round, around and around, and that would be the message, that I would want to send out to our females out there that desire to become women.
That was beautiful. And please check your Twitter, because while you were talking, I was tweeting away, and love everything that you said, especially the human relationship, the primary human relationship we were all born into, but often neglect the relationship with self. Yes. This is
about a few other characteristics. So how might I know where I am on this girl-woman continuum? So when we're in our girl, we have a hard time graciously receiving and allowing ourselves to be helped or supported or assisted. There's this observation I've made. I do a lot of traveling, and I often like to sit in the aisle seat whenever possible. I'm usually one of the few women in the aisle seat, because women usually, want to be at the window and the guys in the aisle. Well, I'm always trying to be in the aisle. I'm tall. I could just go to the restroom if I want to. I don't have to, slide by two other rows of people, seats of people. And so anyway, one of the things I've noticed sitting in the aisle is how often women come down the aisle with their roll cart luggage, and as they near their seat, the men around that woman's seat start to get up, and they're motioning to help her with her luggage, or they'll say, "Oh, may I help you with that?" And I am amazed at how often, again and again and again, the woman rebukes the contribution. Now, is she able to lift the luggage? Yeah, she packed it. She can lift it. Does it mean that she's not capable or she's weak if she allows the assistance? Not at all. Well, then why do so many of us, again and again, airplane after airplane, city after city, rebuke the contribution? It's because in our socialization, left to its own devices, as females, we are taught to be overly self-sufficient and constantly do in many cases. And so then when it comes to just allowing ourselves to be assisted or contributed to, we rebuke it. How many times have we even just paid a compliment to a woman, and instead of saying, thank you so much. She goes into some, kind of windy explanation about how today her hair didn't go like she wanted it to, when really I've had this dress for 4 years, and this whole narrative, instead of just graciously receiving. Little ways, big ways. And so a girl has a hard time graciously receiving, and she also has a hard time asking and making requests.
So, Debrena,
go ahead.
I want to know why. I want to know, why are we like this? Why are 93% of us unable to receive assistance? And I can't tell you how many friends that I have that are in the dating scene right now that are just like, Tayla, I don't want him to pay. Like, we can go Dutch, but I don't want this man to feel as if I rely on him. And I'm thinking to myself, why not? Why are we, or have we gotten to this point where women want to be the hero, the shero? They don't want any help.
Well, we've gotten jacked up. That's the short answer, because we now are in the workforce, which was not always the case. Women working outside the home really became something in the 1940s, wartime, where all hands were needed on deck, and women had to leave the aprons and whatever else was at home, and they actually entered the workforce and started to become part of the industrial complex. So that's a pretty recent occurrence where women were not in the wage earning world. And so now that we are able to generate our own money, we're struggling because we've always teed up men in the role, and I don't talk about roles in my book. Roles are limiting, and they're not based on scripture either, but we've cast men in the role of provider. And even as modern women, quote unquote, around women, modern females, we still are in that mode because, well, I have my own money. I don't want him to feel I'm dependent on him. And so if money energy is a contribution. Now, if you mean I don't want him to pay because I don't want him to want some pussy later, then say that and follow the principle and starting with the day.
Yo, on Friday the guest said dick, on Monday the guest said pussy. What am I going to do with my guest?
Something that has a cost to it, but start with a very small cost. You start with
my heart is racing right now. I think my blood pressure is through the roof.
So we got to rearrange some things. We got to approach some things very differently. But if we are in the proper headspace, and modern courtship puts us in the proper headspace, then we're appreciative and grateful when a man is willing to share his money energy with us. I'm amazed at how many times, and back in the day when I was, going out to clubs a lot, dancing all the time, going dancing, and men would buy me drinks, and I would say, "Oh, thank you so much," and they'd say, "Wow, women never say thank you." Or men would ask me to dance, and I'd say, "Thank you for the dance." Wow, no one says thank you for the dance. So our mindset is jacked up, and we need to, recognize that
I'm so nervous. This is Mr. Nubian.
Share with you. Learn how to start small. Learn how to start with very few money energy units, and relax and enjoy, and get out of it meaning that there's some kind of, payback that has to happen, or there's some kind of
don't say pussy again, Debrena.
Expectation. We just
Friday's
guest said dick.
Debrena just said pussy.
And that is mainly what men want. They love pleasing us, but we're not letting them know we're grateful. We're not letting them know we're thankful. And it can be a cup of coffee at Starbucks or tea or Jamba Juice, which is where we need to start. Smaller initial money energy units outlaid on dates. Money is real energy. And 1 hour. We've gotten so confused. We are very confused right now. And because we have our own money, I would really like a man to still pay if he's willing to. That's my preference. It can be his money energy.
That makes
not
two
mine.
of us.
And so if women want to go Dutch, so okay, go ahead. But I'm for allowing a man to contribute his money energy to us for following the modern courtship principles, because men are spending way too much money. And so many women aren't even grateful. They're not even a great date, which is something else I talk about in my book. So I'm talking about just allowing at the very basic level, you know, like you're saying, even a man to maybe purchase, you know, I don't know, a muffin and a tea. Let's start small. Or allowing him to help you put your luggage overhead. It doesn't mean you're not capable. It means you're making a choice to allow him and to be grateful for it. So, and then when we talk about our hearts, then we have a hard time receiving there and allowing. So if you at the physical level have a hard time allowing, then at the emotional level, you're really struggling. You really got on your boxing gloves and got your barbed wire fence up around your heart. So, and if you look at our anatomy as females and the anatomy of male, particularly the sexual anatomy.
Just don't cuss at me again. I said, just don't cuss at me again, Debrena. Just don't want FM radio. Just use certain words.
Okay. Just look at our anatomy, and
we're not up yet.
So we are to receive, and men are to give, and we have it twisted, and we're doing. We're not relaxing. We're not giving to ourselves. We have a hard time when someone else wants to give to us. I mean, it's a mess. But when we're in our girl, we have a hard time receiving. So that's another one of those characteristics. Another one, when we're in our girl, I'm overly self-conscious about my body. And I constantly judge and compare myself, my body, and my life to other women. Well, that is everything that the reality shows that we say we don't watch, that we do watch, are about. And the images, the scripts that we see, particularly on TV these days, are all about judging, assessing, tearing down, criticizing other women. And it's okay and it's acceptable, and you can do it in a post and you can do it on social media, and it's very acceptable. But that's a sign of being in your girl.
So, quick, hold on. Reggie B wants to add something really quickly.
All right, Debrena, my name is Reggie B, and I heard you multiple times on the radio station here, and I love everything that you have to say. And I just want to say that I love coming here, keeping Tayla Andre company. So no more P words. We're going to use the V word.
So I don't think we're going to get through all 5. I think we've covered 2 so far. We're starting with the 3rd. Of course, I want everybody to know that you guys can purchase Love Lies, 10 revelations that will transform your relationship and enrich your love life. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on a hardcover. You can get it from Amazon. You can also buy it straight from Debrena's website. Did you buy thelovelies.com? I love the book. I've read it. I've reread it. And I'm still trying to learn how to get out of this thing called my girl, because I am, I own it. I own my selfishness, Debrena. That was probably one of the hardest things that I had to own out of the Love Lies was my selfishness. And I don't think I have body image issues, because I'm quick to be a nudist. I don't think that's a problem for me. But we do have, a complete we have billions of dollars that are being pumped into the media to say that you aren't shaped correctly. We have women that are getting butt implants. We have women that are getting breast implants. One of the biggest things right now is liposuction, whether it's freezing it or melting it or sucking it. Like right now, people just want to be these perfect Barbie dolls, and no one loves themselves for who they are. So I think this is a great number 3 on you being in your girl. If you're too worried about what you look like on the outside and you haven't been doing any internal cleansing or internal Transformation Tuesday doesn't look too good on on the outside when the inside's just as nasty as it wants to be.
That's right. And also, having a morning ritual is so important for the female spirit and character, particularly our spirit. So, in all of my classes and all of my courses, it's about helping women, quote unquote women, to start their day differently. So most of us, when we're in our girl, we JJR, we jump out of bed, we jump in the shower, we run out the door, or we rush out the door. And when we're in our woman, however, we understand that each new day is a gift, that how I start this day, the tone that I set, the place and space that my spirit is in, and my attitude is in, and my vibration is in, will absolutely determine how my day unfolds and how I move through my day and how I respond to what this day presents. And it is amazing to me how many of us have no structured process for opening up into and waking up into a new day. And sacred self-care, a sacred self-caring woman versus a girl who's not self-caring. JJR is what she does, but when you're in your woman, you set the tone and pace with prayer and meditation. Prayer, speaking to the Creator, or whatever name or label you give and acknowledge as that higher power. And then meditation is in its simplest form, being able to hear from the Creator, which we are able to do by design. And most of us don't, because we're always in motion. We don't know how to fill our spirit. We don't know how to be intimate with our own spirit. We get restless and can't even hold still very well. So, so when we talk about self-love, it's even showing up in, well, how do you start your day? How do you get yourself prepared for this new gift of 24 hours that you've never, ever experienced before? And it amazes me how much women struggle. And I have women that do my courses that are more evolved and progressive than the average woman. And how much struggle there is with taking dominion of our morning. Oh, well, I'm tired. I got to get up earlier. Well, actually, you're getting to bed too late and you're keeping the boob tube on and you're letting all that input go in your eye gate and your ear gate. So, so the girl is always talking about her circumstances and how she can't do this and how she can't do that and why she can't. One of the characteristics of being in your woman is you have a deliberate process that you open each new day up with, and it includes prayer and meditation at the basis. Plus, it might include some other things. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's some journaling. Maybe it's writing gratitudes. It can be some other things as well, listening to certain music. But she has a deliberate and intentional way that her day is opened up and started. And a lot of us would get an F on that because the practice is something that's done consistently. So a practice of a morning ritual. Getting it to the level of practice. So those are just some of the characteristics between girl and woman. And those are just, 4 or 5 of them. And many of us may have said, oops, I have to answer no to that. Oops, I got to answer no to that. But just being truthful is square one and not painting a false rosy picture. Like, let me just tell the truth about where I really am with this. So,
Debrena, the truth is half these girls are going to be like, nah, that's not me. Nah, I can't relate. A lot of girls aren't going to admit it. So how do we, the girls that are too scared to, we might internally in our head say, you know what, that really is me. But when, out loud, there's a difference between what you say in that little voice in your head versus what you affirm to yourself. So,
it's because one of the lies that we are fed, and I have heard Christian women who, profess to be believers, and I'm a Christian woman, but even Christian women, atheist women, Buddhist women, it doesn't matter. I've heard us speak a lie that says the truth hurts. Well, the truth hurts. I've heard women say that, and I'm like, where'd you get that lie from? The truth shall make you free. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You're on autopilot. Lies hurt. Lies keep you in bondage. Lies keep you stuck. Lies keep you denying. Lies keep you avoiding. How did the truth get a bad rap? And now the truth is what hurts. No, the truth brings freedom. How'd you get that twisted? Well, that's part of the funky social programming. So when we're in our girl, we may be living out of the lie that the truth hurts. No, the truth is the path to liberation. So we can stay in that jail I talked about. We all have free choice. But I promise you that when you're in your girl, you are not experiencing juiciness. You're not experiencing juicy relationships. You're not experiencing your life is juicy. You're not experiencing getting in touch with that very real love and joy that is part of your divine design. It's hidden. It's suffocated. It's weighed down underneath a whole bunch of other stuff. So you may be going through the motions. You may have a life, but you're not really living. You be making a living, but you're not really living. So I don't care what anybody tells me. There's a way that we are made as humans. And it is very consistent, no matter what nation or generation or era or religion you were born into. And we are designed to live in joy, and we are designed to give and receive love. We are designed to have open hearts, not closed hearts, not wounded hearts, not hearts behind Fort Knox with barbed wire and 5 levels of vaults. Now, you may choose to live that way, but that is against your divine design. So you can't tell me I've done too much transformational work with women and men around the world, across the country, and for 25 years. And you can convince yourself that staying in jail is glamorous. But it's a justification and a rationalization to be able to live with yourself. But the freedom is when you've said, I'm in jail, I'm behind bars. And then what's so amazing, as soon as we acknowledge that, we realize we've always had the key to get ourselves out of jail. But if you say, I ain't in jail, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't know what these metal poles are in front of my face, I ain't in jail, I'm in jail, then you'll stay in jail. So we can remain there, we can choose that, but I promise you it's not working for us. It's not working for our mind, our body, our spirit, and certainly not our soul. So, and females that are ready to transform are ready to acknowledge where they are, what they've been doing, and what's not working. And that becomes the platform. It's like a stair. As soon as you say that, you now have a stair to step up on and elevate out of the space you're in. And then you put up another stair of truth. Here's the truth. Here's what I acknowledge. Here's what I own. There's another stair. Now you're ascending yet another level. Or you can be lying about it to yourself and stay in the dungeon. You can choose to stay there. But don't lie and say it's all sunny and bright and beautiful and it smells great. Stop lying. It's stinky, it's dank, and it's dark, and there's mildew everywhere. But you can choose to stay there, but don't make up a lie to justify staying there when you're intended to be in the light.
I know you like to think, yo, don't stink, but lean a little bit closer, cause roses really smell like boo. I got Debrena to sing. She sang for me, baby. The Love Lies, 10 revelations that will transform your relationships and enrich your love life. The Love Lies sets women free from chronic cycles of dissatisfaction and disappointment in their relationships and offers a proven process to dismantle the root causes of why relationships fail. Please, Debrena, tell us where we can find you, where we can find your book, and where we can get some more information on who you are and what it is you do.
I love it. Well, I have a new website since I was on with you last, didyoubuy.thelovelies.com. And that's Grand Central for all my awesome transformational relationship work. But the book is also a national book, so you can walk into a bookstore and purchase it, as well as go through my website and be connected to Amazon, where you can get it hardback, which is what I recommend because it's an interactive book. You write in it, or you can get it via Kindle. So I guess that makes me global. But digibythelovelife.com, I have an awesome free network called Bliss Network. And folks that sign up for Bliss Network at digibythelovelife.com also get a free gift. So that's how we can stay connected.
Absolutely. Reggie B, you want to close out? You want something you want to add?
No, I just like listening to her talk.
I love listening to you talk, Debrena. I thank you. I know you're on West Coast time, so it's about 4:00 in the morning. So we.
Yes. But I love you. That's why I'm willing to do this only for you. No one else do I do a 3 a.m. West Coast broadcast. But for Tayla.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those who don't know, we are in the process of bringing Debrena to Boston. Debrena to Boston. Say that 3 times fast. So if that's something that you're interested in, please hit me up. TaylaAndre. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Debrena. If you missed any of today's conversation, it will be posted on mixcloud.com. For my parents, those babies do not have school today. I know it's all of an inch of snow. We used to walk, when I was young, we used to walk in 10 feet of snow with no shoes on.
And it's on the ground. It's wet.
I know, it's raining outside, and these babies got a free day off that they have to make up at the end of the year. You better take responsibility for your actions. I don't know why. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Don't do it, Tayla. Don't do it.
I swear to God.
These little pansy children they don't shovel anything. What do you do? Huh? They don't have chores. They don't have to do anything. I'm so mad. Shout out to Hip Hop for Flint for Hip Hop for Flint here in Boston. Hip Hop for Flint that was over 35 countries across the globe. Do your due diligence as far as your water is concerned. We're learning that there's over 23,000 pipes. I went ahead and I posted it on the Wake Up with Tayla Andre page. We have over $100 million worth of work that need to be done in Massachusetts. So can you only imagine how much work needs to be done across the entire United States of America as far as water is concerned, and the lead being in the pipes? And for those who didn't hear the story that I read earlier, New York City is currently going through the process of finding out whether or not those in public housing have high levels of lead in their blood as well. So please read, please do your due diligence. TaylaAndre. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys had an awesome day today. I hope you learned something. Girls, you need to come out of it. We need to be in our woman. We cannot raise these babies while we're in our girl, because what are we then creating? A whole bunch of children that act like children because we ourselves are acting like children. Message. Love and appreciate you. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Big City 101.3 FM.
That's right, baby. You know what it is? It's DJ Sus One, the feature presentation. Listen, make sure you wake up with Tayla Andre Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on Big City 101.3 FM. Wake up with the Radio Rebel, politics, news.
You know what? And Debrena is always ready, set, go when it comes to us.
It's the type of stuff I'm into. Right?
3 o'clock.
Let's go.
That is dope. 3 o'clock in the morning. She was ready. She was wide awake. I was like, okay, I'll be all groggy and sleepy and tired.
Shoot, I'm more groggy and sleepy than she is. But I definitely do appreciate her. She's so awesome. The book is amazing. It has transformed my relationships, and I need to go revisit it because I'm being a little selfish in my life right now. So I can be honest.
You're a roller coaster, right?
I am. Anybody who can deal with me. Woo! Praise Allah. That was in Aladdin.
I guess Prince is okay because he made that song. That song is okay with you, so he got a little leeway. Yeah. All right, I'll see you later.
Reggie B.
I'm gonna see you Wednesdays,
Wednesdays, and Fridays.
I picked up a client chain at 5 a.m. Tuesday to Thursday morning.
Hey. Have a good day, Reggie. Roses really smell like boo. Ooh. I know you like to think, it don't stink, but I need a clip. My hand not to working right. Roses really smell like boo, boo, boo. It's all about the party, party, party. Party, party, party. Oh, hey YouTube, how you doing? Why do I always forget about you guys? Because I don't have the actual. Oh, y'all see me. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. But in all honesty, this is how I walk up in the studio. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys get to see me in the rarest form ever, the truest form. This is Tayla Andre. This is who I am. There is no act. There is no performance. This is me all day, every day. And I hope you guys enjoy it.